Well, welcome everybody. I'm Debbie Ingalls. I'm the director of the Cool Climate Enology and Viticulture Institute here at Brock, and we have a packed house today to introduce our speaker. I'm very pleased to welcome Dr. George Soleas, President and Chief Executive Officer of the LCBO. My goodness, how can I?
And there is the OCRC as well.
And George graciously accepted our invitation to speak with us today. So I want to give you a little bit of background on George before we start. So George is responsible for corporate strategy, executive leadership, and providing a forum for consultation and dialogue on matters affecting the beverage alcohol industry. He received his BSc from McMaster University, a diploma in enology from UC Davis, and then later went on to get his master's and PhD from the University of Toronto in chemistry. After serving for more than 11 years with the Canadian wine industry, he joined the LCBO in 1997 in quality assurance. And he, over the years, worked his way progressively into more senior leadership positions. And in 2016, he was named President and Chief Executive Officer. George is also a professional affiliate of both the McMaster Institute of Transportation and Logistics, and of course, he's also a professional affiliate of CCOVI here at Brock, and has been really since we started that program. His enological and biochemical research has led to 8 book chapters, 51 peer-reviewed publications, of which I'm proud to say he has collaborated with researchers here at CCOVI on some of those publications, as well as several industry and scientific presentations devoted to beverage alcohol, both on the national and the international level. He's a recipient of the Ontario Imported Wine, Spirits, Beer Association's Industry Partnership Award, the Greek Wine Industry Award, very near and dear to George's heart, and was recently inducted into the Jura de Saint-Emilion. And in 2017, George was appointed to the Board of Directors of the Retail Council of Canada. So please join me in a warm welcome, George.
Thank you very much, Debbie, for this very generous introduction, and thank you for the hospitality from the executives here today. And I'm always very happy to come back to Brock University and to CCOVI, and I'm always very impressed with Debbie's knowledge and passion in the industry and her leadership with CCOVI. And I can tell you that you guys are in good hands. I'm so happy that there are so many people here. I must tell you that I don't have any samples, neither from the LCBO nor the Cannabis organization, so if you're here for that, next time. I'm extremely pleased to be here, and thank you for taking the time to come and listen to a guy from a bureaucratic organization like the LCBO, which I'm sure you're going to find out that that's not what it is once I finish my presentation. So before I say anything, I have a very short video that I think you're going to enjoy. We have an amazing corporate communications division at the LCBO. They can do just about anything. Have you seen anyone in there that you know? Some people, yeah. You have? So we're entering a new dynamic era at the LCBO, a new phase in our 90-year history. As you've seen in the video, we've gone from a distributor to a retailer to a marketer. And the retail environment, the alcohol beverage marketplace in Ontario and really in Canada, competition, customer loyalty, technology, it's all changing. And it's changing very rapidly. And in some cases, technology is changing exponentially. And we're changing with it. We're taking advantage of opportunities to grow into a more customer-centric organization, into an organization that we differentiate ourselves from our competitors. And that's why I'm so excited to be here, and I'm glad that there are so many people here so that you can listen to the story of how the LCBO is changing for future success. How are we setting up the LCBO of the future? I've taken this job a couple of years ago as a president and CEO, as Debbie said, and we are going through a great deal of strategic transformation. A lot of things are changing at the LCBO. Some of that it is outward facing, and some of it is inward facing. But every component of this transformation has a single focus, a singular focus, and an end goal. Is how do we serve the customer better? How do we serve the customer better? Because that's basically what we depend on. It's the customer. No customer, no LCBO, no job for anyone. In our business specifically, there are a number of distractions. There's labor disputes. There are labor disruptions. There are economic conditions. There is competition. There are government policy and legislative changes. You notice I didn't mention WAGO or the Wine Council of Ontario or anything like that because they're not distractions. These are... It's a joke. And my list can go on and on and on. But there is one thing that is a common denominator that for anyone that is in retail and specifically in any business today, and that is the incredibly high standards and expectations of the customer. The customer is looking for a more seamless, a more integrated, a more effective customer service. And they want it anywhere, anytime, on any device. Whether it is an iPad, or a tablet, or a mobile face, or a desktop, or a watch, or just about any appliance that they're going to discover moving forward. Those are the expectations of the people. And that's exactly what the LCBO is doing today. It's developing strategies and tactics to address just that. So the LCBO is looking forward. And that's what I'm here to tell you. Where are we looking? But before I do that, and because I don't know everybody in the room, I know quite a few people that I know, they know a lot about the LCBO. There are some that don't, so I'm going to give you my 30-foot high review of the LCBO, and I know that even those that think they know a lot about the LCBO, they may find this quite interesting. So we, as the video said, we're about 90 years old. We were created in 1927. I wasn't there those days. Andy Brand was. I wasn't there. And they formed the Liquor Control Act at the time, and today we're almost 91 years old later. We are one of the largest liquor retailers and distributions in the world. We service our customers in Ontario through 667 stores, to be exact, through 5 distribution centers in Ontario, the largest one at Durham, which is, by the way, an automated facility. And most of the automation in that facility came from within. There's a lot of innovation at the LCBO. And we buy products from more than 80 different countries from around the world. The world is our shopping basket. We have a menu of about 29,000 SKUs, and we have 9,200 employees. And unlike what the union says, most of them are full-time. but there are a lot of part-time employees there as well. Len, welcome. I said I know most of you guys, so it's good. So I came from this industry myself, and I have a lot of ties with the industry, and the industry is my passion also. So in terms of our brand, the LCBO is the umbrella brand. We have about 5,500 SKUs through the LCBO, mostly wines, beers, spirits, cider, ready to drink, and most of those products are selling in most of our stores, depending on the size of the store and the demographics. We also have the Vintages brand for higher end, limited availability products or exclusive one-off products that we buy in the market. And we have the food and drink that I don't think there is anyone in here that doesn't know the food and drink, because it's our love mark. It is issued on bi-monthly basis, and you can get it in print, but also in digital format as well. So I always like to show the numbers. I like to blow our horn as well. Last year, our fiscal year, which finished in March 31st, 2017, our sales was at $5.9 billion net, and our net income was $2.1 billion. And this is revenue that is wholly transferred back to the owner, the province of Ontario, and it is used for paying for education, for healthcare, for infrastructure projects, and whatever the Ontario government would like to use that money. So, and of course, at the core of every decision we make, these four pillars that you see there cement both our mission and our vision as an organization. The LCBO corporate social responsibility objectives fall under the umbrella positioning of always taking care and capture four key pillars: environmental sustainability, product quality and safety, community involvement and fundraising, and responsible retailing and moderate consumption. Let me give you an idea of what these looked like last year. And by the way, these are the foundations of the organization. In the case of environmental sustainability, through the LCBO's funding of the Ontario Deposit Return Program and municipal curbside blue box programs, more than 93% of the bottles and cans we generate are recycled and kept away from landfill. There are approximately 350 million beverage alcohol containers returned through this program in 2016-17. That's incredible. The LCBO has been an international leader in reducing beverage alcohol containers waste for close to a decade. And I'm sure that many of you know what the Canada bottle is. If you don't, we're the first ones to introduce it, and that cannot exceed 420 grams. It's one of the lightest bottles you can find in the market. Our lightweight glass bottle initiative has reduced annual waste by 6 million kilograms. 6 million kilograms is about 8,500 moose, the weight of 8,500 moose. I know you don't know the weight of it, but it's about 1,000 kilograms of moose. So that's 20% reduction in greenhouse gas generation. But that's just not only the reduction in green gas reduction. It's also how we save the backs of our people. Having a lighter weight, you have a lighter case weight, and you know those cases, they have to be lifted by human beings. And we care about our people. And that reduced the weight of the case by half. Now, the LCBO was recognized with several awards last year for its excellence in store design, in marketing, and technology innovation. But among those, the ones we are most proud of are the recognition for our work in energy savings, including recognition for retrofit initiatives dedicated to energy conservation by using LED lighting, high-performance HVAC replacements, as well as we've replaced doors or our fridges in the stores, and that total annual energy savings from all these is equivalent to powering 300 homes a year. Now, the other pillar is our quality assurance program. We ensure that the products we sell are safe and authentic to be sold. They're of sound quality. They comply with the Packaging and Labeling Act and regulations of Canada, and the labels are socially responsible. I'm not sure if you know that, but the LCBO, it's the only legal jurisdiction in the world that basically chemically tests and tastes every product that we sell to our consumers. And we ensure by reviewing the label and the liquid that the product is actually authentic. We have a database of results, and I was just talking to someone about it here, that should be in the Guinness Book of Records. We have the largest database in the world of results on alcohol beverage, and in fact, people would say, so what? Well, we collaborate with Health Canada, with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, with the academic institutions, with the European Food Safety Agency to set standards, but also to diffuse crises. One of the latest crises was the arsenic in California wines. When we went through our database and we looked going back 20 years, we found no arsenic in almost 99.9% of the wines. By producing data like that, this is hard evidence for the media and anyone else that is looking at that. And it's believable because it is tested by a credible organization like the LCBO, who not only has international reputation, but is doubly accredited through quality management systems such as 9001 and 17025, one of the most demanding accreditations for laboratories. As I said before, we test all of the products that we buy, 29,000 products, half of which are consignment and private orders, and the other half are through the LCBO vintages and general list for 630,000 tests. We tasted almost 7,000 products, and we reviewed all of the products that we bought at the LCBO. Now, the other pillar, which we're very proud of, is the community involvement and fundraising. We take great pride in supporting our communities and in our ability to partner with our customers and business partners to support and raise funds for worthy causes. Customer donations at LCBO checkouts and employee fundraising efforts raised a record-breaking $13.3 million in 2016-17, which was a real record considering prior to that it was way lower than that. Thank you. And you know what? You'd be happy to know that charitable organizations that we give to are the United Way, the 4 Sick Kids Hospitals, MAD Canada, and many, many other provincial and local charities. And I'm also happy to say that I just found out a few days ago that we've just raised another $4.1 million for the United Way this year, which is another record, and another $5.8 million for our Sick Kids charities and MAD Canada. So we're very proud of that. But we're also very proud of the responsible retailing that we stand for. And of course, ensuring social responsibility at our point of sale remains a clear point of differentiation for the LCBO. Our goal is to provide our frontline staff with the tools they need to be empowered, to be supported, and to feel valued. The LCBO retail staff challenged more than 14.4 million people who appeared either underage, intoxicated, or were suspected of purchasing for an underage or intoxicated person. 260,000 individuals from that 14 million were refused service, 82% of them, because they were underage. So, as you can see from some of the POP that I have on screen here, we go back quite a few years with our social responsibility. And you know what? These POPs, they're very effective. We are in the market with moderate consumption campaigns at key times through the year. And I am sure you noticed our most recent one that was in the market in Toronto and across the province over the holidays. Here are a few examples of some of the work that our corporate communications is doing. And again, this is very different because now you can see the touch of the LCBO on many of these POP. Now, I said before that we're evolving. And while we're the only retailer in Ontario for selling spirits, we're not a monopoly in our marketplace. A beer store selling imported and domestic beer operates 473 TBS stores. In Ontario, there are approximately 516 winery retail stores and 184 on-site brewery stores. And the Government of Ontario, through the Asset Review Council, and the chair of that council is now my chair, Ed Clark, recently announced a decision to authorize 450 grocery stores across the province to sell beer, cider, and many of them will be selling wine as well. By the end of this calendar year, approximately 280 groceries will be in operation. So what does this mean? It's a good thing. Competition is good, and there is much more option for the Ontario consumer. But it also means more competition for the LCBO, but competition brings the best out of anyone, in my opinion. So that creates the opportunity to build on the strength of the LCBO brand, to refocus on engaging and delighting our customers, both in our retail destinations and through our e-commerce experiences, and the opportunity to continue to grow as a trusted and as an influential wholesaler to these new customers. This has also been an exciting opportunity for transformation and to chart a new strategic path for our business. We need to become an ambidextrous organization, and we're not the only organization in the world that is ambidextrous. Many organizations, like Nike, for example, they sell their own products, but they also sell through many other retailers. So I didn't want this transformation to be another buzzword that we can use in these types of meetings. I wanted the transformation to be meaningful, to be strategic, to be impactful, and to be focused. So here is what we embarked, and this is what we're doing. We focused on three key elements. The first one was, what is our vision and what should the strategy be? What is our vision for us for the next 5 to 10 years? What space do we want to be playing? Where do we need to focus? Then we looked at the organization design. Is the structure and the talent and the functions aligned to get us to that vision? And then we asked the question, do we have the right leaders at the table? Are they able to challenge and debate at the table? Is it the right talent? And do we all speak with one voice? Because it's important to have a core team that can lead and that can be the ambassadors of my vision. Because if you cannot be the ambassador, you can't cascade the message down to the people. So as we embarked on our transformation journey, we began a robust process to map out our mission, our vision, and our long-term roadmap, which resulted in the most comprehensive 3-year strat plan that the LCBO has ever had in its 90 years of history. A clear plan that mapped out our mandate and goals, our objectives, and ways of working. The old ways of doing business were no longer good enough. So we refocused our strategy across retail, e-commerce, and wholesale to make sure that across all three of our channels, we were focused on the one main thing that is crucial to our business, the customer. So our retail will remain the foundation of our business. But in order to compete, we need to enhance our stores to offer a locally tailored experience. The predictive model that we've used in the past, it's no longer good. That equation and those variables have changed. The market has changed. What is the predictive model of the future look like? What should the store network strategy of the LCBO look like? That's a project that we're embarking on. It's a very complex project, but it's absolutely necessary to tell us whether the size of the store is right, the location of the store is right, the content inside the store is the right content, depending on the demographics, who else is selling what, and so on. a very important project. E-commerce is an area we know our customers have specific expectations for us. And they compare us to leaders in this field like Amazon. Can we be the Amazon of the alcohol beverage industry in Ontario or in Canada? Our digital channels must grow to be an extension of our brand, offering a personalized experience that is integrated with retail and live up to the delivery expectations of the customer. And a lot of the millennials that I see in the room, they've got very different expectations from people like myself, for example. In wholesale, our wholesale customers are just as important as our retail ones. And we will be focusing on how we can become a stronger and a more valuable partner to them. So for us, customer centricity, it's not just a project. It has to be a way of life. It's a mindset. Customer centricity is data-driven. It begins with understanding our customer. Are we an insights-driven organization? Do we understand the insights? Do we have intelligence on the customers? Our focus is product and experience. What we offer and how we present it to the customer in store as well as online. We need to be agile and nimble and responsive to the customer needs. Each of our internal functions needed clarity on their contributions, and the people closest to our customers should be empowered to make decisions and to make them quickly. We must be engaged and connected with our customer at the beginning of their journey and all the way to the end of the journey. And we need to embed the customer in every decision we make. And we need to measure what matters. Our KPIs align to the customer needs. We must incentivize people on how they deliver their part of the customer experience. The next step was to review our overall organization design to ensure we were structured to fully deliver on our strategy. It's been a long time since the LCBO last reviewed our leadership structure and how our teams work together. So it was important to be clear that we were trying to achieve 4 things. The first one was to increase the organizational agility. The next one was to enable LCBO to deliver a strategy by introducing or by enhancing important capabilities. And the third one was to establish greater end-to-end accountability for key aspects of the customer experience. And lastly, we needed to drive more effective collaboration everywhere, within and with the trade partners. We needed to bring the internal silos down. And it was difficult to get people to understand that there are actually silos. And if you can't bring those silos down, there will be no seamless integration. And as I said before, I believe that change starts at the top. You know, every time I visit a store, I can tell you if the store has an amazing manager or a mediocre manager by how you're welcomed by the staff, how the store looks, and how motivating the people on the floor are. You can tell right away that they have a great leader. So I saw the value of bringing the senior core team together, a group that would debate, challenge, and speak with one voice to the owner, to the customer, to the industry, and to our staff. As I said before, a group that were my ambassadors, that can cascade the message all the way down to the floor. As part of this process, I made some changes of my core leadership team, and that included appointing the first LCBO Chief Customer Officer. So we appointed the first Chief Customer Officer, we appointed the first Senior Vice President of Supply Chain and Wholesale, and we appointed the first Vice President of Innovation, Strategy, and Enterprise Analytics. Having a Chief Customer Officer on board sends a signal that we're serious about our commitment to our customer centricity. It also aligns us with other leading organizations that have accelerated transformation by having a dedicated voice of the customer at the leadership table. But I also have someone who goes at home at night and worries about the customer, and that's important. As you know, the work that goes into an organizational design review needs to be very thorough, and it takes time to get it right. That includes not only the structures, but managing transitions properly. We spend a lot of time looking at how change ready we are and planning of how we can change our culture. If you're not change ready, you will fail. So we introduce change ready management across the organization, and we have actually a full-time position that looks at that on a continuous basis. In order to change a culture, which by the way, a culture is a choice. If you allow your culture to evolve, it's no different than evolution that is affected by external and internal factors. But if you choose a culture, you can drive the culture to where you want it. And that's exactly what we decided to do. This redesign at the core of our senior team has helped us. Is that? All right. So this redesign at the core of our senior team has helped us propel a number of new initiatives for us to help embrace the future of retail. Digital technologies has increased the customer expectations for convenience and for personalization. And as I said before, customers want a seamless experience across channels, whether in store, online, or through their mobile device. So what are we going to do to meet these opportunities? Well, True customer engagement now binds together the physical and digital experiences to create meaningful impact and a new dimension of interaction and engagement. Today, when it comes to true customer engagement, the term phygital sums up where customer experience is going. This is really what a lot of people call the omni-channel. Phygital is really about creating an ecosystem between the brand and consumer across physical and digital spaces. Online, in store, over the phone, on mobile or desktop, smart watches, or even smart appliances. Understanding that this is a symbiotic relationship is critical, as is acknowledging that for consumers, being connected is now a natural and subconscious human state. Most modern customers do not distinguish an offline and an online world. For them, there is no line. In Korea, for example, Tesco, which operates under the name of Home Plus, has taken this one step further, with significantly fewer stores than other market leaders. Home Plus believed it could become the leading supermarket retailer without increasing their number of stores. Drawing on research that revealed working Koreans dreaded their weekly shop, they decided to take the stores to the people. And that's how you do it with customer. You don't wait for them to come to you, you go to them. Using outdoor display space in platforms in metro stations, they created virtual stores featuring all the products you could find at their supermarket. People waiting for their train were able to do their shopping using their smartphones to scan a barcode and order goods, which were then delivered after they return home from work. Isn't that nice? Well, we're seeing this here at home with Loblaws and Metrolink's partnership to order, click, and collect groceries on transit. What we're seeing is a genuine move beyond delivering a one-dimensional customer experience. Instead, we see a seamless experience cascaded through a series of channels. Brands are now building saliency and increasing sales through phygital interaction. They are creating storytelling, entertainment, fun, and utility where consumers really are part of the experience itself. So we continue to elevate the importance of our e-commerce channel as an extension of our stores. We have seen great progress in this area, but we always strive to do better and more. How many of you have ordered an online product from the LCBO? Not enough. You will after I finish. Between November 5th and December 30th, which is period 9 and 10, or the holiday season for the LCBO, which represents about 20% of our annual sales, which is about $1.2 billion, we totaled orders of up to 18,500 orders. We have more than 7,700 products available to our customers to shop online, of which 2,500 of those are actually exclusives. You can't find them on the LCBO shelves. You have to go online. That's why you need to place an order online. Sales through e-commerce today are over $18.1 million. Considering the $6 billion sales, 18 is not a lot, 18 million is not a lot, but it's the beginning. And we're going to get there because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. That's the direction that people are moving. So the site has received almost 10 million visitors, mostly Canadian visitors who spend about 3 minutes visiting the website. This year, we launched mobile commerce on our mobile app, which has generated almost 3,000 orders, and next day delivery for this holiday period, which contributed 3.8 million in sales from the 18,500 orders. By the way, the next day delivery online has a much higher basket in terms of value than the actual home day delivery and the delivery to store by at least $100. The next day delivery is $320, the basket. The regular home delivery is $220, and picking up at the store is $160, significantly higher. And you know what? We're now starting to see a lot of the younger people, the millennials, starting to use the online. So very quickly, in the interest of time, spirits represent 41% of all sales. Wine represents another 41% of all sales online, and beer represents 18% of sales. This is a great channel for everybody, including my friends from the local industry, because now we've opened the market to the entire province for people to order through online. Now, I mentioned mobile commerce. We just completed an upgrade to our mobile app that enables customers to browse and buy at the same time, making mobile device-based shopping for more than 5,000 products fast, secure, and user-friendly. And we're adding gift items to the site, and I've added the ability to include a gift message and a gift receipt with the order. So you can send me, my birthday is on August 17th, you can send me a gift through that, and I won't return it. And then social media. We are enhancing our online customers' user experience and the ability to chat with our knowledgeable product consultants. We have an amazing team of product consultants. Not only they're knowledgeable, but they're so passionate about the work they do and the products they sell. They are great ambassadors for the Ontario local products, the wines, the beers, and the spirits. And you know what? Victor here has 21,000 followers, and we have many Victors at the LCBO. And personalization is key. There are a number of really exciting steps that we've taken to make the customer experience truly personalized. As an example, we have established my LCBO newsletter, email distribution. Customers receive personalized wine recommendations, food pairings, and the relevant content. We're also making some changes in store to enhance the customer experience. We are looking at arming our retail staff with tablets to pull out the personal profiles of customers' purchase history to offer recommendations. In August of last year, we launched the LCBO Connect. So our employee app that helps CSRs make product matches for customers in store and engage them with product knowledge. Our goal is to look at how we can leverage technology, interactive elements, and virtual reality to add value to the customer experience. We are also enhancing our in-store aesthetics and atmospheric digital screens, which engage customers with more active sights and sounds than static displays. Through these features, we'll continue to empower our customers in new ways. You know, I talked about creating a position for a head of strategy, innovation, and enterprise analytics. Innovation is a way of life at the LCBO. It's a core value, and there is innovation happening everywhere. The LCBO recently became the first government agency to partner with Communitech, commonly referred to as the Silicon Valley North. Communitech is an industry-led innovation center based at Waterloo. There are many companies that work there, including government agencies, academic institutions, tech incubators and accelerators, and co-locates them under the same roof to generate ideas for business success. So what we've done there is we added a team of 4 co-op students and a PhD, an industrial engineer PhD, who leads these 4 students. We brainstorm and come up with ideas. We send them to these kids there, and within a week or two, they have apps for us. And it's incredible what these kids can do today. And it is amazing with what some of the apps that we're getting out of this hub. And a lot of them you will start seeing at the LCBO stores, including a wayfind or using the beacon RFID technology to find where the product consultant is in the store. So there is a lot of activity going on right now. There is a lot of innovation. And we're happy to say that we're the first government agency that actually started this. And WSIB and many others are now learning from our experience. So the LCBO is proud to showcase Ontario's first-rate local products and look at creative ways to collaborate with VQA, the Ontario craft brewers, cider, and small distillers, mainly through marketing and promotional opportunities. More recently, the new grocery channel has been good for local manufacturers because they have been able to provide compelling offerings to consumers. I'd like to give you a broad overview of some of the specific support we've provided to our local producers. Here we go. In the case of wine, the LCBO stores regularly carry more than 500 Ontario-produced wines, including some 300 VQA wines. The LCBO sells VQA wines from more than 100 different Ontario wineries and sold more than 1,200 different VQA wines in fiscal 2016-17. Let me give you some specific initiatives by the LCBO to promote Ontario wines. Our wine country boutiques in 20 select LCBO stores that have the look and feel of a trip to wine country, featuring an assortment of the best Ontario products, including store-exclusive products, niche and ultra-premium items. Small winery support, including the Ontario Wine Direct Delivery Program, which allows smaller Ontario wines to deliver their products directly to local LCBO stores, and the Wines to Watch program, which helps smaller wineries grow their production, their distribution, and their sales through the LCBO, and has dedicated shelving in 60 LCBO stores. The Ontario Superstars, a promotion featuring 3 VQA wines each month, with eye-catching displays in 330 LCBO stores, and a feature in LCBO's Food and Drink magazine. And an annual promotion from mid-September to mid-October in all LCBO stores, including consumer tastings, in-store Ontario wine and food events, a vintages catalog featuring VQA wines, a major public VQA wine tasting event, advertising and social media elements, and information on the LCBO's website. When you look at the support we provide to the Ontario craft brewery industry, and Ontario Cider. We are thrilled to showcase both industries in a number of ways. The Local Fridge program, which promotes beer from local communities through dedicated refrigerator sections in more than 120 LCBO stores. Almost all new LCBO locations also feature dedicated cold rooms for beer. The Growler stops in Toronto and Ottawa, selling 1.9 liter growlers of craft beer on draft. If you haven't tried that, it's a fantastic experience. Staff training, including 360 specially trained beer ambassadors. And on the cider front, we are pleased to provide the industry with promotional opportunities, such as end-aisle displays, monthly promotions, and freestanding inserts in daily newspapers, as well as the LCBO's promotions during the fall and the winter holidays. And finally, turning to Ontario's small distillers, we have a number of great initiatives to promote this growing industry. Direct Delivery Licensees program, which allows authorized Ontario small distillers to deliver directly to licensed establishments in Ontario on behalf of the LCBO, and they get a 20% rebate. The Ontario Small Distiller Direct-to-Store Delivery program, as well as the Direct Delivery to Duty-Free Stores program also. Now, I am very inspired by the results that I am seeing, not only the financial, but also the unsolicited feedback that I'm getting from our trade partners, from our customers, from the government, and really from everybody. The transformation is happening and it's really sticking. The structure, the right talent, the functions are aligning, and the culture is changing. I know that because I sense it, because I see it. But of course, when people say, when will you be done with this transformation? Transformation is never done. Once you begin on a transformation, it's continuous improvement. When you stop, it's the end. Status quo in this business is not acceptable. My people know that, I know that. So one of the KPIs, key performance indicators we look at is, of course, sales and profit, because that's what I transfer to the Ontario government on a weekly basis. But it's not the only KPI that we're interested in. We're interested in the customer satisfaction. We're interested in our employee engagement. We're interested in our partnership, our collaboration with our partners. Those are very important KPIs. Of course, sales are important, and sales are trending on plan and higher than last year by 5.7%. And I hate to predict, but I'm going to predict that we're going to finish the year at about that, 5.7%. So we'll see. Now, year to date, by category, spirits sales have the highest dollar growth, reaching almost $1.9 billion and are trending at 4.9%. Wines are holding their own, up 3.8% over last year at $1.24 billion. Beer and cider has year-to-date sales of just over $1.1 billion, trending at about 4.4%. And vintages ahead of everybody this year, has experienced the highest percent growth, reaching $464 million, or 7.1% over last year. So people are excited, they're motivated, they're engaged, they're out there, the customer centricity is sticking, and the customer engagement is actually increasing. So as you know, we just celebrated 2 years of our grocery operations and have a lot to be proud of. We are currently supporting 280 authorizations, which were awarded with 232 grocers actively selling. 23 companies in the program, Loblaws, Walmart, Metro, Sobeys, and 19 independents such as Longos, Farm Boy, and a number of smaller grocers. By spring of 2018, will be 375 total authorizations awarded, and so far we have shipped to them 3.6 million cases, and they have a menu to choose from of over 1,900 SKUs. This is fantastic news. Sales to date are $120 million to the grocers, of which $26 million in wine, and 50% of that is actually Ontario wine. 50% of the $26 million in wine is local. 85.1 million is beer, of which 21.3 million is Ontario small producers, and 8.3 million is actually cider. This is a great success story, and it highlights the strength of sales for a good number of products from our local industry. So that's our journey thus far for the LCBO. And I know many of you are very interested about this new business called Cannabis. Or you're not. I thought I did it. I'm well trained. So let's talk a little bit about the Ontario Cannabis Retail Corporation, which is the new business that the government is embarking on. Here we are. By the way, I don't know why they have leaves there. When nobody smokes the leaves, they're actually smoking the flowers. But nevertheless, that's how it's promoted. As you likely know by now, the government of Ontario proposed approach to retailing cannabis is through a government-operated Crown Corporation model, like the LCBO model. And this new corporation will be a subsidiary to the LCBO. The Minister of Finance last September asked us to set up a steering committee and a project team to work with the ministry to set up this new business, which includes 40 independent stores, independent from the LCBO, standalone stores. By July 1st, as you sure know now, July will not be the date, most likely sometime in the summer. There will be another 40 stores by July of 2019 and a total of 150 by 2020. The stores would sell cannabis and cannabis-related items only, no edibles at this point, and no alcohol. There's this perception that you will be able to buy alcohol and cannabis in the same store. That is false. This proposed approach leverages our operational expertise and speaks to our long-standing commitment to integrating socially responsible practices into everything we do. So the LCBO will be the back room of this new subsidiary, this new organization. The team has worked on municipal engagement and consultations on store siting and local issues. We've had many consultations with many municipalities in Ontario. We are securing store locations as we speak. We are looking at the OCRC branding as well as the in-store aesthetics, the design and the logo and the color schemes and all of that, and they should be announced very soon. We're building relationships with the legal producers here in Ontario as well as across Canada. We have put a very thorough supply chain team and system in place, and we are looking at the HR and also training and a training model for all of our people. Many of the things that the LCBO does today will be shared services. And for obvious reasons, there are a lot of synergies and a lot of efficiencies. Store development and real estate, for example. ID information technology and information network security. Supply chain. Some finance functions as well as some corporate communications functions and so on. Anywhere we are able to gain efficiencies and to use systems that we have today without taking our focus off the business of the LCBO, we will do that. And I've said that many times. is that we will be laser focused on the business of the LCBO. I committed to the Government of Ontario a strategy, objectives, initiatives, and certain commitments in terms of what we're going to deliver that we must deliver. And the focus will be on that. That's our priority. But the LCBO has also been in business for 90 years, and we have a lot of expertise in delivering what the government is looking for this new organization, including, and this is very important, on the social responsibility component of this new business. So you're probably dying to find out what the design looks like. I can't tell you. No, I know. I'll tell you some of it because it's already released. And some of it is the retail design will be bright, simple, clean. There'll be standalone stores, and the store will be approximately 3,000 square feet. They will not be co-located with the LCBO. They will actually be standalones away from LCBO stores, and they will be in compliance with the federal legislation in terms of where they can be and cannot be. They will have a low-profile exterior, and there will be no promotions and no marketing of these products. There will be no freestanding inserts or limited time offers, very low profile. So the retail store layout is going to look something like this. The front of the store, which is on your left, will be the check-in area. As you probably know, no one can enter this store who is less than the age of 19. So there will be ID checking right in the foyer of the store. And in fact, if you're doing click and collect or you're picking up a product, because there will be online presence of cannabis, you can pick it up from that area. Once you enter the main area where you can explore and learn, it will be very similar to an Apple store, where there will be tables with tablets, and you can smell the product, the various varieties. You can research the various varieties for what you're looking for. There will be displays inside the store, but you will not be able to pick up a product and pay at the POS system. You will have to place an order at the order desk, at which point the product will be retrieved from the back room for you, and you can take it and go. Someone could argue that it's very similar to the LCBO of 50 years ago, but this is a much modern model. As I said, it will be bright, it will be simple, it will be clean, and it will be inviting, but in a very socially responsible way. I think this government has taken a very sensible and a very cautious approach in using the LCBO model and using this type of a setup, and I think it's the right approach. So in terms of training, we divided our training. There will be significant training, extensive training for our staff. In fact, we've already set a test store at 1 Yonge Street, and training classes where people will be trained and where we're going to test a lot of the stuff that we're going to roll out in the stores. So we divided our training into 4 areas: the back room, the counter, the explore and learn, and the check-in area. And we are in the process right now, and there is a training team that is putting standard operating procedures in place, similar to what we've done with the LCBO by looking at the time and motion studies, health and safety protocols, as well as OCRC policies. There's a lot of work that is being done. The timelines were very, very short, but we will be ready in the summer when the legislation passes. You know that we've engaged in a contract with Shopify. Shopify is a cloud-based solution which is going to help us with our point of sale, with our HR, and our supply chain, as well as our forecasting. So all of that is now underway. There will be product knowledge and training for all of the CSRs that we are going to engage in this business. And I can tell you that there is a lot of interest from a lot of people to work for this new organization. So in terms of supply chain, there will be an end-to-end supply chain process to deliver to the bricks and mortar as well as online. It will be done out of the same distribution center. The producers will deliver product to this distribution center, and the OCRC will deliver to the bricks and mortar, or most likely Canada Post will do the home day delivery. So I think that's probably a lot to take in, and I really thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I hope that met your expectations, and you know what? I'm very happy to answer any questions that you have.
So we're now going to open up the floor for questions, but we do have some online viewers as well. So after we take the questions from the floor, there may still be a couple of online ones that we'll address later. With that, anyone that has a question, please feel free to ask George. Andrew.
Good afternoon. Thanks, George.
You're welcome.
I'm in the business here. One of the things I was wondering, your vision and mission statement today are about beverages, spirits, and wine and beer. How do you reframe your strategic plan, your vision and mission now with cannabis?
Yeah, so as I said before, the OCRC is a subsidiary to the LCBO. It will be a standalone organization. This organization will have its own board and its own chair, but they will be reporting to the LCBO board and chair. So very different vision for them, although when it comes to social responsibility, I think it will be the same, but a different business. So the board of directors has been selected, the chair has been selected, the government will be making announcements soon. They just have not been, they haven't announced that as of yet, but a different business. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Understanding the Ontario legal board and the rules and everything, once there is no competition, there is no, because you're the only retailer and the provider to the whole Ontario, there's no competition for the price of it as well. So we have seen these overpriced alcoholic beverages in the market. Once we move to a different country, haven't. So
Yeah.
what's the policy beyond that? And also, is there anything the board wants to do with that?
So you're referring to the LCBO, not to the OCRC, right? When it comes to the OCRC will have a monopoly when it comes to the sale of cannabis for recreational cannabis. When it comes to the LCBO, as I mentioned before, the LCBO, when it comes to spirits, is a monopoly. But anything else, the grocers are starting to sell beer, wine, and cider. There are minor retail stores. There are microbreweries. There is a beer store. So I don't believe that we are a monopoly when it comes to those products. The price is set, and there is uniform pricing across the province. So that is based on a markup, a fixed markup. There is no variable markup when it comes to the alcohol beverage industry. So I hope that answers your question. But I can tell you, I travel the world, and quite often I pay a hell of a lot more in other in states and other countries that you pay at the LCBO. We are a very large organization. We have the power of buying a lot, but in this country, healthcare is paid by the government. Someone has to pay for it, so we collect it through the alcohol. You go to the United States, you can buy the wine a little bit cheaper, but when you get sick, you pay $100,000 to go to the hospital. So it's a balance, right? That's the way I look at it, but I'm sure that others would look at it differently.
Do we have any other questions for George?
Yes, sir.
George, how are you today?
I feel so good being here.
Just the last part of your presentation was on cannabis. How do you see the impact of cannabis on sales at the LCBO?
That's a very good question. I think that's a question that everybody's been asking. And you know, it's a $60 billion question because no one really can give you an answer right now. The sales of cannabis have been part of the illicit market for a long time, and you really cannot get real, accurate statistics. But if you look at the anecdotal evidence that are coming out of Oregon, out of Washington, and California, Colorado. And I've been in conferences where people said that there was a little bit of an decrease in beer sales, and then it came back to normal. I haven't heard much about wine or spirits. I think it's anecdotal. I think it's too early. It's very difficult to project at this point. Very difficult. I would say that the first and second year of this business will not have any effects, because there are a lot of people that are using it today, and they're going to continue using it. Will you see new people getting into this product? I don't know. Everybody looks at this through a different lens. It's a personal choice, and it's extremely difficult to project. Yeah. Alan?
Yes. First of all, the prices at the LCBO for a lot of products, like I sell wine all across Canada, liquor boards, the price of the LCBO is very fair, and a lot of liquor boards that are much higher than sell our wine. But my question is, what is the pricing model for cannabis? Understanding it does have some taxation in it, and obviously, and I think you're aware of this, one of the concerns we have, certainly from the wine industry, is we understand that the taxation on cannabis is going to be more modest than we originally thought it was going to be to compete with the illegal market. However, our wines, which has about 100% markup in taxes, is twice the price of the illegal wine market or home brewers.
Yeah.
We're concerned about that as an industry, that the taxation level on cannabis isn't as high as wine.
Yeah, so the pricing has not been decided yet, Alan. So that's something that the government is looking at right now. I know where you're coming from, and that's something that you should be discussing with the province as well as the federal government. I think that it makes sense that the OCRC will have to be competitive with the illicit market to basically put them out of business so that they can be the sole provider of this product. I think there are advantages for that. They will be providing good quality product. It will be safe product. There will be a lot of education. So at the same time, if someone is buying from an illicit dispensary and the price is a lot lower, they will continue buying from that dispensary. So I think the government will have to make a decision as to how they would like to price product. I would say that the advantage that the OCRC has is that when you're buying from an illegal dispensary, you're playing Russian roulette. When you're buying from OCRC, you're buying good quality, it's safe, it is accredited because it carries a certificate of analysis, it has the right packaging and the right labeling and the right information on it. So that's another advantage. But the price is going to be a big factor. I've been at conferences where people say that, I buy from George's illicit store because it's craft. And then the LCBO is going to be selling the Budweiser, right? So which is false. There's that perception. So I think that's the other thing that we need to do is we need to educate people to know that the quality of what we will be selling at this OCRC is going to be great quality, and it's going to be no different. There'll be the same varieties that you find in these dispensaries. But again, I'm not downplaying your concern. I think it is a concern that you will need to discuss with the government.
Tim?
Yeah, Tim.
Thanks very much. That was great. I was struck, really impressive to see the partnership, the LCBO Next at Communitech, with 4 University of Waterloo students. Was that intended to be kind of one-off, or is there a model there, a template for the LCBO partnering with innovation centers where there are students who can contribute to the mission? I'm asking for a friend.
Yes, just to be straight up. Or for the University of Guelph. By the way, they're not the University of Waterloo students. No, we get co-op students from Guelph, from other universities. If there are Brock University students, we'll be happy to welcome them. So it's a great model. I meet these kids. I go down every quarter and I meet with them and I sit down and I see what they're doing. And they are fantastic. I mean, they're so savvy. Within a week or two, they can produce an app. So we're looking now in an app to use the retina so that we can identify quickly people that are, lower than the age of 19, etc. I mean, I'm not as savvy as they are. I can't tell you some of the other projects that we're working on. So we take co-op students from everywhere. We are looking for collaborations elsewhere as well. So we'll be happy to entertain any ideas. We would like to be as innovative as we can. And that's the reason why we're bringing in a head of strategy and innovation and enterprise analytics. Analytics is a big area right now that there is so much you can do. We have a huge data, which is not even as full as a swamp. We're not able to mine a lot of that stuff because it's not organized the way we need to organize it to be able to mine it and get the right information, to get the right intelligence, the right insights, so that we can help ourselves and we can help the customer. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. We've just scratched the surface. We've just started, to be honest with you. Yeah. Paul had a question here.
Back to cannabis and the land use issue, I guess. One gets the impression anecdotally that there's a gold rush mentality within that industry. And, again, we hear anecdotally about people that were perhaps employed in our industry have been poached in that industry, and how will the actual demand in terms of you're going to be buying, from the greenhouses, how do you ensure that there isn't overproduction and that there are a whole bunch of greenhouses that spring up and so it's mostly I guess a land use question here in Niagara.
Yeah, I think the marketplace will dictate that. It's supply and demand. I can tell you this is not inside information. This is public. That the statistics that are coming out of Colorado, out of Oregon, Washington, and California right now is that the wholesale prices are coming down because there is a huge supply, and it's gone. The average price per gram was at about $4.50. It's now down to $2.80. So, the marketplace will decide as to where this is going. Now, these producers, they don't use a lot of land. A lot of it is grown in-house. And unlike grapes, they can have, I think, 6 harvests. 5, I heard 6, but maybe 5 or 6 harvests a year. So they can produce a lot using not large spaces. So I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I would say that the market will dictate as to, what the supply would be.
If you got a license and you opened a greenhouse, will you have to buy from them?
No. I only buy from whoever I want to buy. If you're not offering me the price that I'm looking for, I'm not going to buy. It needs to be from Canada. It needs to be certified through a laboratory that it is accredited by Health Canada, and it needs to meet my requirements as an OCRC. Yeah. I'm not obligated to buy from anyone unless I want to buy. But if you've got a product that it is good quality and it meets my expectations, and I have a need to buy, I will buy. The model will be very similar to the way we buy alcoholic beverages today. Yeah, there's a procurement process. There will be a call, just like we do today. The pricing is the only factor right now that has not been decided.
I'm requesting a question. will there be?
I thought I answered your question.
Will you establish a social reference price threshold like you have with alcohol beverage, so that we don't have brands that are $2.50 or $4?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I know yes.
You already asked. What was the answer? That has not been decided yet, I would say, but it's something. There's a lot of discussion on pricing, minimum pricing, and a lot of the question that Alan is asked. So that's all being right now discussed. I don't have that information for you at this point, to be honest.
Last question on the floor, and then we'll do the Just have a question about change management. So with the organizational change that you led, would you have any lessons learned or any strategies to share for, especially for long-term employees that have been there for a long time, trying to get them to turn that ship around?
Yeah, about a year and a bit ago, I asked for an all managers conference, and I had a lot of resistance from the executives. It's too early, you're going to scare people. Don't mention the word transformation. Don't talk about organizational restructuring. So I said to the board of directors, this is going to be a seismic change. And if we were to measure these on the Richter scale, it will be a 9, but we're going to make it feel like a 3. So how do you do that? And you're relentless with your communication. You communicate, and you send out the right messages. And you lead the way, you lead the example, and you make sure that you have a core team that speaks with one voice, that they're the ambassadors that cascade the message in a consistent way. It's important. When I had that conference a year and a bit ago, I got up and I said, status quo is just not acceptable. Not going to get us there. It's a disaster. Look what happened to Kodak and many others. Where are they today? And then look at Fuji and where they are today. They changed. We need to change. So when I said to them that if you're here because this is another pensionable day, we're not going to get there. Because you hear that a lot in many organizations, it's another pensionable day. I just came to work, put my 7.5 hours, we're not going to get there. So I said, if that's what you feel, step aside, because the team LCBO is going to charge. I got a standing ovation. People said, I waited 5 years to hear this. I knew that there was a lot of thirst and a lot of hunger in there to change. So, but you need to be careful as to how you roll out change. So one of the things that we knew that we had a culture that we needed to change. There was entitlement. There's a lot of entitlement in some organizations. How do you change that? There's complacency. How do you change that? Is very carefully you continue to talk about change, and you set out people that are your ambassadors, that they continuously promote it. And we've come a long way in a very short time. It takes a long time to change your culture. And sometimes it's dangerous because it can backfire. And the other thing that I said to the board is, we're not going to get it right from day one. We may have to tweak things. I've already tweaked some things. It's easy to see something on a piece of paper and a design and just say, this is the structure. Looks really good. Sure. But once you start looking for the talent, sometimes you don't find the right talent, so you have to compromise and improvise. And sometimes you make that change and you know that it's not exactly what I really needed to do. So you make sure people understand that this is not permanent, that there are a lot of moving parts, and we need to be agile and nimble in order to get there and to be successful. I know I said a lot, but it's not an easy thing to do.
Okay, we are going to, with that, George, I would like to thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.